It's the first game week we've had in a long time where there isn't a double game week, but it doesn't mean there's not potential for us to get those green arrows. So we're going to have a look at my game week 28 first thoughts, some players that you guys should be thinking of bringing in ahead of game week 28 and then the blank game week 29. So here are my transfer thoughts, my chip strategy and everything like that. My first thoughts after the game week 27 deadline. So let's get straight into the video. So let's start off having a quick look at how I actually decided to line up in game week 27. So I actually, very close to the deadline, made one free transfer, and it was the selling of Bruno Fernandes. Now this is something I've spoken about a little bit, mentioned that the fixtures coming up aren't great. If there's a time to ditch him and maybe buy him back a bit later, now is the time to do it. And very close to the deadline, I did decide to make the move of taking Bruno Fernandes out of my team. Now, in his place, I bought Pierre, Emerick, Aubameyang. Now, he had the Burnley game in game week 27. He then plays Tottenham in game week 28. And then, importantly, he plays again in game week 29. Now, I'm recording just after the Arsenal-Burnley match, so I know Aubameyang has scored. So really happy that the transfer has looked good so far. Now, Fernandes can always get something against Manchester City, but it means that if he gets a return, he's still likely to match what Aubameyang's got. So happy that we got that Aubameyang return. Maybe one bonus point, maybe not. It's very touch and go at the moment. It hasn't been confirmed. But yeah, very happy with how my first transfer has gone in game week 27. What this meant is that my team lined up as it is on screen. So I played 3-4-3. It was just a direct swap of Fernandes into Aubameyang. I left the bench as it was with Luca Dean, Mitchell there. The captain did fall on Gundogan in game week 27. So fingers crossed that he can get something in either of those matches that he's got. If not, 5, 6, even doubled is still going to be a good return. So that's how we lined up. Good to get off to a good start with a big differential in Aubameyang at the start of game week 27. So let's hope that Bruno Fernandes blanks, because if he does, that's a big differential for me in game week 27. So moving on to my first thoughts for game week 28 and the transfers that I'm thinking of making. So start by having a look at my potential transfers in. The first one is Rafinha. Now, he creates so many chances. If you look at his shots that he takes, shots in the box, shots on target, key passes, big chances created, he ranks top pretty much overall amongst any players in the league. So with the game in game week 29 that we know we've got, he's definitely a player that I want to own in that game week. It's just a matter of when I get him in and exactly who it's for. Next up, we have a Leeds teammate in Dallas. Now, I plan on getting both of these players into my team. I don't want it to go into a big game week where Dallas and Rafinha will have high ownership like they did in game week 26 or 25 where they had the Leeds double game week. I don't want that again. So I will be buying Rafinha and Dallas ahead of the game week 28 or 29 deadline. Next up, we have Beltman. So we've heard that Lamptey has got a bit more of a long-term injury. And with the injuries to Newcastle, who Brighton play in game week 29, Beltman is definitely someone that I'm thinking of bringing into my team. He's got the attacking threat playing at right wing back for Brighton. So it's either him or his teammate Lewis Dunk that's going to come into my team ahead of either game week 28 or game week 29. So I'm looking to bring in 2 Leeds players and then one of the Brighton defensive options in Beltman or Dunk, because of those fixtures they've got in game week 29. I'm not playing my free hit. And any of you guys who aren't playing your free either, or even if you are, these definitely players that I would consider owning for that game week. Now, in terms of the players I'm potentially selling and transferring out ahead of game week 28 or game week 29. So first of all, we've got Salah. Now, I will need to ditch one of my midfielders who doesn't play in game week 29 in order to get Rafinha in. And I have very little money tied up in Salah. He's probably going to see some price drops over the coming weeks as well. So not really a player I've got that much sentimentality in owning. I also will be wildcarding in game week 31, and in game week 30 they play away at Arsenal. So there is a potential that I don't need Salah for that game week either, given their form. So he's someone that I could ditch for game weeks 29 and 30 and then look at bringing him back on my wildcard. Next up, we have Luca Dean. So moving towards defenders, I know that I'm going to need a Leeds defender and a Brighton defender. So Dean doesn't have a fixture in game week 29. I brought him in for the double game weeks that he's had recently and he's returned really nicely, particularly in that big double game week 26. So yeah, very happy with Dean, but it's just a bit of a cash downgrade. So I've got a bit of money in the bank if I need it, but yeah, he doesn't play. His upcoming fixtures are okay, but yeah, just a bit of a moving around depending on what the scenario is and planning for game week 29. Next up, we've got Cancelo, who falls into a very similar boat with Dean. When I wildcard in game week 31, I may well get Cancelo back. but just I will need that spot to potentially get Beltman in or Dunk in. So one of Dean and Cancelo is likely to leave my team. It'll be one or the other. They cost very similar. So I'll just have to decide close to the time, potentially which I want for game week 30, which out of the two, and which longer term I'll want depending on the money I've got tied up in them. The final defender who I know will definitely make way is Mitchell. Now, Mitchell seems to have picked up another bit of an injury. He could have got points for me in game week 26 with 2 Crystal Palace clean sheets, but that wasn't to be. He didn't play in either of the games. So Mitchell will make way for one of those defenders, and then Dean or Cancelo will be the other transfer out for me in the next coming game weeks. But those are my transfer plans ahead of game week 28 or game week 29 over the next coming game weeks. So having a quick look at how my team will line up for game week 28 if I was to make no free transfers. Now, I know I want to bring Leeds players in, but we can see that I've already got Bamford on the bench, who has Chelsea in game week 28, so I don't really think I'll need Rafinha or Dallas in my team for that. Now, Brighton do play Southampton, but just thinking if I bring him in, there's no one really in my starting 11 at the moment that I'll be looking to bench for a Brighton defender, so I really think I'll probably roll the free transfer going into that game. Now, at the moment, my captaincy is on Salah. Now, I haven't put too much thought into it. He does play that last game, which I do like, having that little bit of a waiting game for my captain. I do think Liverpool will have to bounce back at the moment, and that little bit of rest that he may get, it may depend on minutes that a lot of these players get in Europe, but someone like Kane, he also always loves a goal in London derby. He also could get my captain. So at the moment, it's very up in the air, but it's on Mo Salah at the moment. So we can have a quick look at what my transfers could be over the coming game weeks to start fiddling around with it, just to show you what my team will line up with. So if we take out Mitchell, who I know I'm going to transfer out, and we can take out Luca Dean as well, so it's going to be Dean or Cancelo. In their place, if we put Dunk, now if we know that Lamberty's not going to be available in game week 29, which looks very likely that he won't be available, it may be Beltman because of that more attacking threat, but we'll put Dunk in there for now. And then I know that I'm going to want Dallas in there as well. Very highly owned, and going into that game week against Fulham, he is definitely a good asset to be owning. And then that leaves me with 0.3 in the bank, but I know that Salah downgrade to potentially to Rafinha is definitely a move that I'm looking at to get a full 11 out in that game week. So this will require me to take a -4 going into blank game week 29, but I will put out a full 11 with a choice of goalkeepers. Then in my defence, I will have Konza, Dunk and Dallas. Then in my midfield, we will have Aubameyang, Rafinha, Son and Lookman, with Bamford, Kane and Watkins up front. So I'll be playing a 3-4-3 in game week 29 with the way I plan on lining up. A full 11 out. Now, I don't really think you need 11. I can get to it with a simple -4, which is fine for me. If you can get anything sort of 7, 8 above, I think you'll be doing absolutely fine. I think the average person, maybe in the top ranks, may, look to play their free hit or something like that, but 8 or and above, I think you'll be doing very well. So I wouldn't worry about getting a full 11 out, but the way I've planned it does allow me to do so. So those are my current transfer thoughts for the upcoming game weeks, but that's all we've got time for in this video. Good luck in game week 27 as it has just kicked off. The first day of fixtures will probably be almost complete by the time this video has started and gone up. So let me know your score so far. Who have you got returning for you today? But that's all we've got time for. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. But there'll be plenty more coming for you, streams and more videos ahead of the game week 29 deadline and throughout the rest of the season. So that's all we've got time for, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.